Yo, welcome to another episode of the Larry Ohh Show. Got my co-host to the left of me, as always.
What's going on, y'all? It's John Phelps.
I'm Larry Ohh, and today we're going to be talking about the piano roll in FL Studio. Today we're going to be going through some of our most efficient tips and tricks that we use on a day-to-day basis in our sessions. And I guess, you know, with that being said, let's just hop right into it. Oh yeah, and I wanted to mention, 3 people in the comments down below are going to be getting a free month of my brand new community called FLuency. So just look for that in the comments below and listen for that keyword or key phrase and drop it down in the comments here on YouTube, and you'll be entered. So 3 people will get a free month of that. Let's go to the piano roll. Let's just start like a chord out right away.
Even that, like, one little feature you just did right there, that's such an underrated tool. Like,
yeah, so while we're on the topic of like zooming, right?
And you can do that with like the mouse wheel and stuff too.
So
right?
yeah, so this is the thing. This is what I found out not too long ago too. Like forever, like I'm going control, scroll the mouse wheel for the horizontal zoom. That goes for anything, anywhere, right? In the playlist. But in the playlist, what I'm used to is holding the Alt key and clicking and scrolling the mouse wheel, right? But it doesn't work in the piano roll. So let's say we have that, right? If I use the Alt key and I scroll the mouse wheel, it's turning the velocity up and down on these notes. So forever, I'm like, damn, I got to go over here and scroll the mouse wheel on top of here. But one day, by accident, I'm going, you know, I got my pattern going. And of course, you know, like by accident, I hold control and I click the mouse wheel, not scroll it, but click it. Most of them have a button, right? Click, drag up and down, and you got an instant vertical zoom. And then if you just hold control and scroll the mouse wheel, you got the horizontal zoom. Another thing, while we're on the clickable mouse wheel, let's say we got like, I got a long pattern here, right? If you click the mouse wheel, it grabs it, and you can move this piano roll around in any direction, which is huge for my workflow. Not even with the piano roll, but in the playlist too. It does the same thing. Another one real quick, if I want to delete everything, control, click, drag, delete.
And then the quantize command is also super good.
Yeah, so let's record. Say if we recorded something, right? Go to notes, right click. It selects things, but it stays in the menu. And that goes for any menu that's inside FL Studio in any one of these windows. Let's record something real quick, right? Now, what'd you say? Quick quantize, right? Make sure you choose your magnet. If you go half step, it's super small. So if you make any like little imperfections and mistakes, it's not going to lock into maybe where you think it should lock into. I think a good happy medium, like what do you normally go to for like a happy medium magnet snap tool?
It depends on where it's hitting, but I like the quarter beat.
Quarter beat, right?
Yeah,
I was gonna say that smooth. Quarter will be good anyways, but half is pretty cool here. And then you hit Control Q, and like you said, if you're on a Mac, Command Q. Let's see how far off we were on this one. It's gonna do it to the nearest that it thinks it needs to be at. So that needs to be there. That needs to be there. And then another quick tool, Control L, it's gonna legato. And if you want to know any of these, like these little shortcuts that are in here, if you go to the menu, you got a ton of them, and you could see little cheat sheets right next to every single one of them. So all the shortcuts, transpose an octave up or down. Like if you want to go control, go up an octave, go down an octave, control and arrow down. If you want to go up just by semitones, you hold shift up, transposes it just one note at a time. Some very common ones, if you want to add a strum, some chords, you want to humanize them a little bit more. Alt and S. You can adjust the timing. You can adjust the velocity on the notes too. It really just humanizes everything. Because if you're playing like I just played on this computer keyboard, because it's a computer keyboard, it's not going to get the human velocities that you're hitting the notes at.
But one thing I was going to point out is like sometimes with your notes, you can fuck around with the different like voicings of the same chords. So like if you go to like the high note of that first chord, right? And then you drop that an octave using that command you did earlier.
Drop it down an octave?
Drop it down an octave. And now you've got the same, it's in the same pocket, but it's got like a different voice to it that'll, you know, you can play with. And then one other thing is if I find that, especially in the higher registers, if one of the notes is like a little too loud, I'll select just that same way. I'll select like one little note and I'll drop the velocity down to kind of let it fit in the pocket a little bit more, because a lot of times the higher notes will like stick out more for your ear. I'll do the same thing with my 808s too. When you ever jump up an octave on 808s,
oh yeah,
a quick little manual trick you can do is, if the 808's hitting in a higher pocket and you're finding that it's just like way more louder than the rest, dip that velocity down a little bit and just all in the piano roll. It's super accessible.
And over the years, we've gotten some like really dope tools inside the piano roll that's made it a lot better. And I believe in FL24, we got this snap to grid. But what happens with that is you have to, I think, go here first to the drop down on the left, and you go to view, and then you go scale highlighting, and then you can go to automatic. So when you click this on automatic, since we created a triad, a 3-note chord, FL Studio is automatically going to start thinking and suggesting what key it thinks you're in by that triad chord, that 3-note chord. When you look at the piano roll, you can see light and dark gray notes. Anything that's in the light gray, sometimes the contrast on certain screens isn't that great, but if you can see this, the light gray notes are in the scale of what we're in right now. You don't even technically have to know like what scale you're in. FL Studio just gives you the suggestion. So anything that's in the light gray is in the scale, and anything that's in the dark gray is out of the scale that it thinks you're in. And then you can click this to snap it.
I think there's a really cool way that they could improve this feature, and I think that it would be like a really easy way would be when you're using that like automatic tool to find like the scale, if somewhere in the piano roll, like maybe in the corner or something, if it just started showing you like what key you're now in as you start playing along, or even as it's scrolling real time.
Bro, I wish FL Studio had just a key detection. I just wish that
so
on your
bonkers.
master you could just drop a stock native,
like a mixed in key sort of thing.
Yes, like I'm still, I love mixed in key. But imagine having, for somebody that can't afford it, just something that's stock inside FL Studio,
for sure,
having a stock key detection. Back to the piano roll. Choose that snap to grid. Once you do the automatic, choose snap to grid, and now it's not even gonna let you put it in the wrong note. Like it won't even let you click on these dark gray notes. And then like, see how these notes just cut, they kind of overlap here because we did that strum. The way I like to do it, because I like to keep the natural sloppiness of that, and I don't want to do like a hard razor cut, which you can do it. You can do the hard razor cut, but I like to control highlight, hit the alt key to undo the snap, and then just bring it back just a little bit. If you want that last note to be right there, turn that snap off temporarily by holding the alt key, if you didn't know that little trick. That goes for any window in the playlist, piano roll, anywhere. And like John said, if you want to, like this note right here, we might have like a little bit of what it called, like dissonance, or like a little bit of clashing. Like the note's right, but what if this note is just like a little too loud? Highlight just that one note and then you can lower it. And then let's say like this note sounds like a little bit too strummy because we inverted that chord, and it sounds a little weird now because the low note is maybe a little bit strummy. Again, highlight just that one, alt key to undo the snap temporarily. And then maybe like we want that one to strum. You can do a manual strum like that. There's one that's really cool. If you want to just get a little bit of different inspiration, I think it's Alt and Y. It'll just completely flip this. Alt and Y, yeah. Flip it horizontally. Or vertically. It's horizontal and vertically. Or just vertically. That's not bad. It's just different inspiration, right? And then I think Alt and R is the randomizer. Alt R randomizer, and you can randomize the pattern. That's gonna change our whole thing, by the way. But you can randomize the pattern, and you could choose a key and a scale here, different chords, the population on it, like how many notes it has. What I use it for a lot of times is just like randomizing the levels and the panning. It just humanizes it a little bit more if you want to go for that humanization feel. One of my favorite things though, bro. Let me just get rid of this real quick. I mean, it is piano roll related somewhat, but let's say if you want to create chords with just like one key, like you see me playing out the chords like that, right? And you want to learn chords. This does have something to do with the piano roll, because in the piano roll, it's going to show you the chords. It's going to help you learn. You can turn on, if you, by the way,
tool.
If you right click, well, not stamp. I can go to the stamp after this because that's inside the piano roll menu as well. But you can play out chords with one key, right? If you right click on the type to piano button and you go down to one that says chord map on it, so minor natural chord map or the major chord map, if you want to do major chords or minor chords, and then one key. I'm hitting the letter U. That's it. The letter Y. You can physically see the chords that are being played, the notes that are in it. It's going to teach you some music theory, and then you can record that.
Beethoven type beat.
It's going to teach you.
Yeah.
What you mentioned the stamp, right?
Yeah, the stamp.
Go back to layout piano. That's the default right there. But you can stamp. I think if you go to stamp, you can choose one of these, and you could do an only one, or you can do automatic chord.
That's chill.
And it tells you right there. Look at F minor natural, Aeolian.
Ayo.
Ayo. Ayo. Let's do a keyword key phrase. You wanna pick it?
Yeah. Keyword key phrase is ayo.
I knew it. I know how your mind works. So
Ayo.
I played right into it. Ayo. Drop ayo down in the comment section below, and I'm picking 3 people to get a free month of FLuency, which is my new community for producers, for FL Studio producers, where I drop weekly gems. Woo. I do weekly feedback calls live. You can drop your beats in there for feedback, critiques. You instantly get 500 templates and presets, by the way, and you also get weekly templates and preset drops every single week, as well as the weekly calls. Back to the piano roll. Ayo. There was a way that you could do like every time you drop it in, it does it every single time.
Yeah, I think you got to deselect only one.
Deselect. Just deselect it. And it does it every time. Well, I don't think I selected.
Then you got it
though.
That's the only thing about this feature is it like you gotta hit only one, then you gotta select the button.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, you gotta deselect only one. Yep, that's if you want just like a 2-note chord. But that
stamp, you could do that with like any number of chords and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They give you an extra button over here too, by the way. I don't know why I kept going to stamp over here, but stamp is just its own button too. But you could choose any one of these. I mean, there's literally no excuse. How could I forget the other one too, though? How could I forget one of the newest amazing features that I don't use enough?
Oh, yeah.
This is piano roll. This is a piano roll feature, bro.
Jeez.
It's just like an Alt S. The craziest thing to me is that, number one, not enough people use this. Number two, it's not a plugin. It's an actual just piano roll feature, just the same as the randomizer is, the same as the strum, because it has that Alt P, just like an Alt S for the strum, and Alt Y for the flip, and Alt R for the randomizer. You hit Alt P for this, and you have a ridiculous chord progression tool that can generate endless chord progression ideas, and you can go and get crazy advanced with it. I mean, it's just on another level. You can fine tune this however you want. Put another one over here.
What do you right click in between to add a chord or something? Or how do you?
No, you just like double click it. And you can just like anything else, like in a piano roll, it snaps to the grid. So you can create another one, double click another one here. Right?
That's already cool.
Right, man? It's like, and then if I want to lock those in, I can lock those 3, but generate the next 3. Boom. Hey.
That is dope.
Right?
Yeah, that's dope. We should probably do a full episode just on the chord generator, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I mean, this is just, it's ridiculous. Wow, if you hold Alt, you can drop it off the snap too, just like,
yeah.
I didn't know that, yo.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's insane too.
That sounds like a song.
I want to do something in here, but I'm thinking I could just hit accept on this and do it in the piano roll because it just stays here. So like something like that. All right, so yeah, I'm doing stuff and I'm not even explaining what I'm doing. So I want to create, like, I love how this one has this bass line underneath it. like the dome, boom, boom. Like right here, especially, it gets too thin.
So
that's an F. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna copy and paste it down an octave. So I'm gonna highlight it, hold shift, click and drag down to F. And then this note too. What's this one? This one is C. So I'm gonna highlight, hold shift, click and drag down to the bottom C. Now let's say we wanted to create a top melody on top of that. I'm gonna just, for the sake of this, clone it. And then inside this piano roll, we have these ghost notes. But if those aren't on by default, which I think they are, right? Like for the most part, like those are on by default.
I think so, yeah.
It's really gonna help you because, especially if you go and turn on snap to grid, and you go by these ghost notes, you can create a really dope counter melody based on that, using all these like little cheats that you have. And then maybe change that or just like replace it with something else. Maybe higher octave, control up.
And try turning the other instrument down a little bit.
It's still loud, that brass. See, I like that. I'll copy and paste it over. Highlight again, or some people do Control B just to lock it into the next thing. I'll toggle it here because I want to fine tune this, but I want, what is it called? Like a call and response kind of thing where it'll maybe have the same cadence as that first counter melody, but just different notes on the second one. So I'll toggle it close by. Something that's really good for hi-hats when you're doing the piano roll, like for instance, let me just hi-hat, which I feel like I don't use it enough, but I think since the note repeat came about in the channel rack, I've been definitely not using this, but this is really cool. Like it's like a lot of people use it. If you go, I think it's Alt U, chopper. Like if I went like this and Alt U, I think you got to change the grid. Yeah, see, this is why I probably don't use it. You have to change the grid and then hit Alt U. So like it's one of those things where it gets kind of annoying. I see a lot of people using this. And then you'd have to go to like every one that you want it to. You'd have to stretch that and then do that and then Alt U and then boom and then. Or you have this new feature, note repeat. Instant. You do a combination. I mean, you have all these different tools up here. If you're watching this, I'm assuming that you know like roughly what these tools are. You got the paintbrush, you got the pencil tool, you got loop.
And can't you scroll through those tools by like right click with the wheel or something like that?
If you right click and scroll the mouse wheel and you can go through them like this.
Yeah, bro.
Boom.
Come on.
That's why I love FL. There's a ton of different ways to do the same thing. Or you can hit, this is if you have type to piano off and you just hit a C, it's the razor. B goes back to the paintbrush. P would go to pencil. Those are my go-tos if I'm using it like that. B back to the paintbrush. I really just go C, B back to, like if I'm in there, I'm just, that goes to the playlist too, by the way.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yep. Any other piano roll tips like off the top of your head that you can think about?
I mean, just that Control B feature where you can like loop things up, because sometimes I'll find that it would be so nice to just like duplicate it.
And you got to make sure that like you have a clean cut on the end of here.
On the end there.
So if you got a clean cut on the end, if you want to just duplicate this, if you hold Control A, Control B. This is a new button, right?
What is it?
Interpolate. If you know what that is, let me know, because I think that's new. I've been looking at this piano roll menu for years. I've never seen that. You got arpeggiate. Just go through these features, yo, because there's tons of them.
Yeah, go through every feature and just find out what it does. Is a great way to.
Flam is good. We'll create a little bit of space. It's like a strum, essentially. Arpeggiate. You can create Alt and A, make an arpeggiate. Especially like with the chord progression. If you create a chord progression, it's gonna make an ARP based off of that progression. Just turned it into a techno song.
Yeah, it goes hard. I like that.
Right?
If you put that onto like a different sound, that
What if you
would
like
go
gross
nuts.
beast it?
You go right there.
Yep. I don't know. I think that's going to do it for today. If you want to learn more about the piano roll or like drop a feature that you want us to cover in the next episode, we could do a whole episode about it if it gets enough comments and interest. But
Keep listening to the pod, y'all. Keep sending us recommendations. And another thing is, like, if you see a topic in the comments that you think would be fire, don't be afraid to upvote. It's good for the algorithm. We love the algorithm. Keep watching the pod. Keep tapping in.
thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't already, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with a friend if you get me.